Israeli media claims that President Trump told Prime Minister Netanyahu, "I want you to end the war." Well, meanwhile, Israeli military experts are saying the IDF needs more time to finish the job.
Well, here in the U.S., the commander of CENTCOM told Congress that America is ready to take military action against Iran if the nuclear negotiations fail. Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem.
According to Israeli Channel 12, in a call on Monday, President Trump reportedly told Netanyahu, "I want you to end the war. Finish it. The war is exhausting itself." Military expert Yaakov Lappin tells CBN News the IDF is making steady progress and needs time to finish the job.
We have 5 IDF maneuvering divisions that are slowly but surely and very systematically taking control of more and more of the Gaza Strip. And the reason that they're moving slowly and methodically is because Hamas has booby-trapped, really, in places like Yhan Younis, 1 out of every 3 buildings is booby-trapped, according to the IDF personnel that are down there on the ground.
He also points out that Hamas's power is weakened as food is going directly to Gazans through the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Tuesday, it distributed more than 2 million meals.
And the reason that that's very harmful to Hamas is because it takes away the dependency of the Gazan civilians on Hamas, and that removes its political power. This is also a financial blow because Hamas sells excess aid that it hijacked until now on Gaza's markets.
Lappin says in many ways, Israel is engaged in the most important phase of the war against Hamas. President Trump also is reported to have asked Netanyahu to back away from attacking Iran's nuclear facilities while the U.S. and Iran are trying to strike a deal. However, CENTCOM Commander General Michael Kurilla told House Armed Service Committee Chairman Congressman Mike Rogers that if the negotiations fail, the U.S. is prepared to take military action against Iran.
If the president directed, is CENTCOM prepared to respond with overwhelming force to prevent a nuclear-armed Iran?
I have provided the Secretary of Defense and the President a wide range of options.
I take that as a yes.
Yes.
On Tuesday, U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee told Bloomberg News the U.S. now holds deep doubts about a Palestinian state, and he doesn't expect to see one in our lifetime. In an interview with CBN News, Huckabee pushed back against French President Macron's statement that he would declare a Palestinian state.
The president of France would like to have a Palestinian state. I suggest that he host one on the French Riviera. He has that property. That's his. He can do what he wants. But for him to impose something on a sovereign nation like Israel and tell them what they're going to do, I thought not only was inappropriate on its face, but ill-timed. Israel's in a war for its life.
Macron has since walked back his push for a Palestinian state. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, I remind everyone of the history of a Palestinian state. That was the call under the British Mandate. That was the call of the UN. And the Palestinians have steadfastly refused it. First in 1948, when Israel declared its as an independent sovereign nation, the Palestinians had every opportunity to declare their own. And if they had in that point in time, they would have had Jerusalem. They would have had the entire West Bank. They would have had these things. Again in 1967, after the Six-Day War, after Israel won an incredible victory, it offered to the Palestinians all of that land in exchange for peace. All they had to do was recognize that Israel had a right to exist, and they could have the land back, and they could declare their own state. They said no to that offer. And then Bill Clinton, he gave to the PLO, Yasser Arafat, everything he asked for. And then at the end of all of that, Arafat turned away from it and said, "I can't have a peace deal with Israel." Why is that? And it's because of the ideology and that phrase, "from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free." They don't want a Palestinian state alongside Israel. What they want is all of it. And they've said that repeatedly again and again and again. When will the world leadership recognize that the real problem here is that ideology. And until that is defeated, until the very declaration that created Hamas, we want to wipe Israel off the map, the declarations repeatedly out of Iran, we want to wipe Israel off the map. From Hezbollah, we want to wipe Israel off the map. Realize they really mean that. And there's no chance of peace as long as that's their declared intent. Israel has every right to defend itself. It is a sovereign nation recognized by the United Nations. The Palestinians don't join that recognition, and that's the root of the problem.